Today marks 3 years since the tragic Davenport apartment building collapse shook the Quad Cities community. 3 people lost their lives. Dozens of victims filed lawsuits following the collapse. And News 8's Emma Bucher is live this morning from the site with a look back on what has developed in the last year. Good morning, Emma.
Yeah, good morning, Devin. So this site behind me right now, it is a daily reminder for people in and around the Quad Cities about this tragic event that happened 3 years ago when the apartment building at 324 Main Street here in downtown Davenport collapsed. It killed 3 people, displaced dozens of victims. One of those victims actually had to have her leg amputated to be pulled from the rubble after she was stuck there for 8 hours. Now, today, again, 3 years since this tragedy occurred, we are still looking for answers. A lot of people in the community are still waiting for justice for these people. Now, we are seeing in the last year, the legal case has continued to develop. Dozens of plaintiffs have joined a class action lawsuit against the former building owner, Andrew Wold, his companies, the city of Davenport, city officials, engineering firms, and others who are connected to the building. Last fall, the Iowa Supreme Court took up the city's appeal after a district judge refused to dismiss most of the claims against the city and its employees. Davenport initially argued the building was privately owned, so the city shouldn't be held liable for the disaster, while victims' attorneys claimed the city took ownership of the building, therefore failing to protect its tenants through the negligence. Let's hear some of those arguments from last fall.
In a typical negligence case, you don't see arguments being made that they committed homicide, negligent homicide, criminal acts. You don't see allegations being made that they shocked the conscience by failing to act. Those are all claims that are being made to try and elevate this.
When they came in and said that this building needs to be vacated, they took control of the building effectively, and they had a duty to act with care, and the most simple thing to do is to tell people to leave.
So we don't know what those next steps are or when the case will move forward, but we do know that the community and Davenport and the Quad Cities are continuing to remember the victims of this apartment building disaster.
That's for sure. Thank you, Emma. And News 8 created a Community Rising Davenport Collapse 1 year later special. It will be available on the News 8 app. You can also find it on our website at WQAD.com.